So, what is the best way to work through producer's block or songwriter's block? And I'm making this video for myself because I often forget how simple it is to get through this issue. And the answer really is to just put on pieces of music, and not in a way that you're just listening to music, but in a way that you might be willing to copy something about it. And I love my Spotify favorites, like most recently liked songs for this purpose, because I get, there might be like one piece might be ambient, the next piece might be from the 1950s, and I'll just start, or a blues song from the 1920s, and I'll just start listening and then hit the next one, and I'm listening for different qualities of something that I might want to work on in my piece. And then at that moment I am in some form of inspired. Okay, I'm not maybe going to tackle the whole world, and I'm not going to maybe recreate what I've heard, but this is something that I found to be very useful. Also, there is the whole podcast episode called the Trey Anastasio method for inspired play, which I coined that term because I stole that from a video with Trey Anastasio, and I'll link to it in this video. But that inspired play method refers to a process where Trey is not doing this for the lead guitarist from Fish. He's not doing this for writing a song per se, but it's for warming up and getting into the groove of playing guitar when he might not be. Well, he does this as actually a method being, or a routine being, that he would do this consistently, which is he showed that in this video that he puts on like Afrobeat music and he plays along with it just to get warmed up and to hear stuff and to start noodling on a riff. So for him, it might not necessarily be songwriting related. And so that's the whole podcast there. But the gist is really just to put on some music. Not, as I said, it's not just the same as when I'm cooking in the kitchen and I want to put on some music in the background. It's that I have it kind of next to the computer, and a next step is you can even do stuff where you would maybe do a recreation of one of these songs, and you could even take like a classical piece that's simple and try to work with what, like the melody or something that you're hearing in that. And depending on your skill level or whatever, but you can do like a transposition or modify a few notes. That's another thing. So the step up would be to do the recreation, and then a next step is, this doesn't work for everything, and this isn't my most suggested method because you'll see it's a bit too specific, but when I used to do a lot more dance music, it wouldn't have been far-fetched to take a track and put it in your sequencer and then rebuild it on your own tracks, like set up your own tracks and basically play over it. That's pretty good too, because the skeleton of a track is there. So you have a lot to work with. That was really popular in dance, house music, because half of the name of the game with house music is the format of when the song starts. There's this like intro period. It's kind of got like a recipe in a lot of the tracks, and that's what makes it DJable. So that's why this doesn't really it doesn't necessarily carry over to all types of music, but it is worth mentioning because you could kind of do that with ambient music. Like you could put an existing ambient piece in your sequencer and start playing over that, and then you actually mute out the original track. So there's a few options there. The main point is it is hard staring at a blank page. And if you learn about the world of writing, that's a similar problem, is people are always looking for ways around it. And the big one in the writing world is often doing a bit of free writing, or I guess what they call crappy first drafts. That's something where you kind of work quickly. I never really, and I do that for just writing for my own use and purposes, but I never really found an equivalent for music per se. Like it's not like I don't feel like I can just sit at the keyboard, play a bunch of gobbledygook, and now I'm ready to write a track. I just, something about that process didn't really carry over for me. And so that's why I'm suggesting this other one, where it's more about listening, hearing other pieces of music, trying to copy those. I think that works a little better. Maybe in the writing world, people do stuff where they will have finished a book, and then they maybe mapped out how that storyline worked, and then they want to work off of that storyline. I don't know, but that's a whole other thing that I just don't know much about. And so this is what I know about the blank page of music and songwriting. So I hope this was helpful, and yeah.